I am here with John Crespo. He is the Director of Business Development over at Fortera Credit Union here in Clarksville, Tennessee. And we did this Friday financial update, like literally when this pandemic first hit. Like it probably was honestly the last week of March or before, John, I think. It
was
been a
literally the
while.
last week of March.
Yeah. And we had tons of views, and none of the programs were out by the government. We were just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. And,
Right.
John was trying to share with us some things you might be doing as you were waiting, because everything was shut down. It was literally at the beginning. And so since then, I think maybe that week, the SBA had been starting to talk about what was coming. And since then, your financial institution, as well as plenty of others, have been dealing with PPP, and then there was no money and all those things. So we wanted to have an opportunity to come back to you all and have John talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk a couple other topics as well. But John, if you want to just go ahead and tell us a little bit about what's been going on in your world.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me on again. I'm very excited to be able to just kind of touch base again. Like you said, it's been a while and a lot has happened in this time, not just with the PPP, but just in general in our society and just having to cope with what's going on and the virus and all of that stuff. A lot of you out there already know that the first round of the PPP dried up fairly quickly. There was a lot of confusion in the beginning. The intentions were good. How it was executed could have been better, as far as just communication with just all the way down the line. It was tough. We did our best at Fortera to help as many of our members as we can. There was still a lot that we weren't able to get through because it dried up so quickly. So we're going to work that backlog once the funding gets completed again. As a matter of fact, the president is on TV right now looking to sign the package. So hopefully we can get something by, if not this weekend, Monday, we can get started and just get as many through before it dries up, because I anticipate that going away fairly quickly.
Oh yeah, it'll happen again.
Yes.
Although I've seen a lot of really big corporations, returning money as they already had, or some of them have said they were able then. They applied right away, but then they were able to get funding a different way, maybe through private loans or whatever that might be. And I've seen a lot of different things going out there from different providers. So I don't know if that's all that, SBA is all approved or how that works, but I get a lot of, emails coming from like Square or some of these smaller, maybe I don't know if they're credit card, where you swipe your credit card or whatever, and they're saying they're able to lend money. So,
they actually, so the program was actually opened up to a lot of fintech companies as well. So Square is considered like that, PayPal, Cabbage, I think, are some other ones out there.
I saw that one. And I got a notification from my PayPal. I actually got something off my credit card as well, but I think it was more just saying if you can't pay your bill, they're going to give a little grace to us.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing too, because there's a lot of help out there aside from this PPP. So even if you're a business owner and you say you can't get access to the PPP, there's help out there, and it's about how you go about seeking it. There's so many organizations. I know one in particular, the Chamber of Commerce. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is actually has programs for small businesses, and I think I shared that on my page a little while ago, and I'll reshare it. But there's a grant program they have out there for small businesses. Yeah, so there's a lot of.
One though, I said you had to have 3 employees. So I know for someone like myself, if I don't meet that criteria, I have been looking at some other grant things, but I've seen a lot of different associations, like especially in the beauty industry. People are floating around some different.
That, as a matter of fact, that's great that you brought that up, because there's a lot of big industry associations, like the beauty industry. They have associations. So if you're part of an industry that has those associations associated to it, right? Look into that, because they may be offering some other grant opportunities as well. So the point is that we want to get back to work, right? Obviously, this country has to eventually get back to work carefully, because there's a lot of things to consider before we can even do that. And is it even going to be the same after this whole pandemic? Are we going to approach our work the same way? So there's a lot of things that business owners really have to consider.
Right.
And at the same time, there's the organizations that associated with those particular industries are thinking the same thing, and they're saying, hey, let's get together and see how we can help each other. So look for your particular association if in your industry, and see if there's something out there as well.
Yeah, I know here locally, and I'm hopeful that other communities have as strong community ties as we have here in Clarksville. I think we're pretty blessed that I've seen a lot of people working really hard to support small business. I've seen t-shirt sales to support nonprofits. I've seen a lot of donations still coming in to those nonprofits, and people trying to take care of each other. And then even just the small businesses. I know we got the ladies that run that local Clarksville app, did an awesome job putting together like restaurants that are open and have carry out, or, here's a listing of businesses that offer gift cards and things like that you're able to get. So that's been really cool to see too.
Oh yeah. Look at just the attention to helping our local businesses is amazing. Seeing how, like you mentioned, local Clarksville, I thought that's amazing what they're doing out there. That their group is really working hard to help our local businesses in any way possible that they can. And you see a lot of that now. And that's kind of like, it makes you feel good. It makes you know that, this community, especially, the small business community here really, really wants to support each other. And we're finding ways to help each other in whatever way it can be to continue to make it through this. And that is it feels good to be part of something like that here locally. Right.
And so, that kind of shifts me into the next topic is, you and I had chatted a little bit about what that'll look like as we reopen, because Montgomery County and Clarksville, it's not like this everywhere across the country. Some are being really much stricter, and some others are opening up like we are. So our mayors, both in the county and city, have decided to let us start opening up some businesses. And I've seen some things about permits, and I don't want to get into all that, but there's going to be a time where people are going to get back out and they're going to shop and use these retailers because they're open. But I know we talked about like it's going to look a little different, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm definitely
those business owners. Like, what advice would you give them as they start? How do we reach our customers, because they may not be coming out? At least for myself, like I'm going to be working from home for a while. So because I'm a service and I'm a consulting agency, so I don't have to be face to face with people.
Yeah, I mean, I totally feel like that the landscape is going to change. People's habits are going to change. People's behaviors are going to change. How we go out to buy things, we're going to be more conscious. We're going to be more conscious about our health and the health of those around us. So I think for a business to really capitalize on that and to really get some success out of that is earn the trust of your customers and who your potential customers are going to be by being transparent in how you're taking care of your staff and how you're taking care of your, let's just say, your store or your restaurant. Be transparent of what you're doing to keep it clean. Be transparent of what you're doing to take care of your staff, because right now it's imperative that you listen to your employees, and it's imperative that you listen to your customers, because that's where you're going to get your answers from on how to conduct business going forward. So that has to be top of mind to just part of the strategy on how we're going to approach business on the other end of this. That's one thing that definitely has to be thought of. Another thing is you have to think about, what is your supply chain? Like how are you conducting business right now? Think about a continuity plan, because a lot of businesses were caught off guard with this virus. They weren't prepared, right? Things were going well. Economy was booming. Clarksville was #1 city in the nation to live in. People are moving in left and right. Like there's money flowing in, and there's like, it's like, this is the new golden road, right? And then the virus hits, and it's like, wow, I was not prepared for this.
Right.
So,
well, I think they say, you hear so many people say, oh, you should have, I've heard everything from 30 days emergency fund to 60 to 90 to 6 months, and I think people think of that for their own personal health. It's more like, oh, if I got sick, or my child or my spouse, or, oh, if I lost my job, it might take me a couple months to get a new job. But I don't think they take into account if like your whole community shuts down for us now, it's been like 40 some days, because that's my kid's favorite thing to do. I have one in my room, so I can't say her name, but the ALEXA, and they say, we've been home since March 12th. How many days have we been home? And, you know, it spits out that number, and my kids are always like, oh, Mom, I've been home for 43 days. You know, I'm like, yeah, I know.
I know. I'm going through it as well. I got a house full of kids. You know how many kids I have, right, Karen?
Right.
So right now there's 4 of my kids here. They're all home, and we're just trying to figure out what to do every day to get through it. And then we still have the whole summer because school's not coming back. So what are we going to do with all these kids? But that's the fun part, is trying to figure something out like that. But for the businesses, is like to be caught off guard on this with this virus is the importance of having a business continuity plan in place, which is something that I admire about where I work, Fortera. Our leadership was like, they thought about this well in advance and put plans in place to keep us functioning, help us servicing our members, and to come out of this successful. So businesses have to, of all sizes, should be thinking about it. It doesn't matter if you don't have an employee or you have 500 employees. A continuity plan is going to be important.
Right. Because I think it helps us look to the future. I've heard some people say when this happens again, like not if, when, right? Because there's always going to be something in the future that's looming, and whether it's this COVID that comes back around in the fall or next winter, or maybe it's something completely different. I mean, there've been natural disasters. I remember, Nashville just got hit by a tornado, and they've dealt with, as has Clarksville, tornadoes and flooding and all these different things. And I think every time those that do have that continuity plan, like you're saying, they come back strong. And I also love what you said about being transparent with your customers. Like, what are you doing right now? Because that's really what I do, at KR Health Connections, is I work with leadership to make sure their employees are feeling supported, through all kinds of wellness benefits. And it's a unique time. People are needing something totally different. I mean, I have clients out in California. We're streaming yoga from here, from Clarksville, from a local studio. So I'm helping a local studio, create income right now. And yet they're getting clients they would have never got had they not shifted and been prepared. They took a leap of faith and put their platform online. So shout out to the Yoga Mat. If you don't go to the Yoga Mat, I'm going to shout out to them right now, because they actually have free classes you can try out.
I'm going to check them out.
Yeah, they do have free classes online. They also are running free classes for healthcare providers. If you email them your ID, they'll send you a whole platform just for you. They already had a free veteran program. They work with wounded warriors. So they've always been amazing in our community. But I had a conversation with them the other day, and we talked about this. Like, if I wouldn't have shifted, I wouldn't have the new clients. They wouldn't have the new clients, So, and not everybody can do that, I realize, but it's what you're saying, like that chain of supply. Where do your products and goods come from, or who do you service, that maybe when life goes back to, I won't say normal, but goes back to a new normal, you might have a whole new customer stream that you didn't have before.
Yeah. And that's so right now there's a lot of businesses that are finding opportunity here, just like the yoga mat. So they, so another thing to think about is, are you preparing yourself for the opportunities that are out there? Like, are you going to take advantage of it? Are you going to shift your business to offer online, some type of online service? Because you have to embrace digital now. We have to embrace the technology. There has to be another stream of income besides just a regular brick and mortar, right? Offer something through using technology. You have to use social media. Now, social media is actually, the importance of social media and seeing how it can help your business now is just, it's right in our face. You have to get out. That's how you stay relevant with your customer base. That's how you stay out there. That's how you stay aware. That's how you stay top of mind. So it's you have to be able to have those kinds of thought processes and that plan in place for your business, or then you're stuck trying to figure out what you're going to do next.
Yeah, I went to a really large business networking event online yesterday, and it was for Middle Tennessee and Eastern Kentucky, Southern Indiana. And one of the people, I got to go into a smaller breakout room, and he said one of his employees was like, I actually am loving this. Could I continue to work from home when everyone comes back to the office? And he's like, I told her no, I need her at the office. But, you know, he kind of was laughing. He's like, but, you know, he's like, most of my staff they want to get back. He's like, so, you know, how cool that maybe I could figure out maybe a couple days she could work from home if that helps. And so I thought, yeah, I mean, that's something employers are going to have to look at, especially if schools don't start up or go in a certain time that people don't have childcare arrangements and things like this. But I think it's also shown a lot of employers who said, you can't work from home, you can't do this, like all of a sudden, yes, you can.
And and sometimes more efficiently, because you know, people, believe it or not, I think that working from home, you actually probably work more than when you were working in the office, because you can continue working. Like your setup is there nonstop, so you actually have to be more disciplined not to work when you work from home than to work, I think.
Or like you said, having a house full of kids, for me, I kind of schedule work hours. I'm like, you guys, if my door's shut, that means I'm either on a live or I'm on a Zoom or I'm on a chat, you know, so they let me get my work done, and I want to get done so I can get, like, today's beautiful, but it's going to storm. So I want to get outside and hang with the kids before the weather shifts, you know, or I can shift my work hours. Like if I'm just doing paperwork, I can work late at night and don't have to worry about that. So
that's the beauty.
Not be in the office at 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly. That's the beauty of working from home. Like you can set your schedule to be whatever you want it to be. So you have a whole day that you can actually set your work schedule in and still get the work done that you're required to get done. I think it's a good tool. A lot of businesses are going to look at their current setup and see, okay, maybe some positions can just continue working from home, so we don't need as much space as we used to have. You might see a lot of downsizing when it comes to some businesses, as far as you know, just the kind of space, that office space that they need. They won't need as much anymore. It's going to be interesting to see how the landscape develops moving forward. Yeah.
Well, as we kind of wrap up today, I want to go back to the PPP, because as you said, the president is on. I'm not watching right now, but I know he's on, and the hope is this is going to get signed for more funding. What about the people? I guess question one is, the people that maybe had already put in the application when the funds ran out, will they be first in line? And then secondly, for people that kind of dragged their feet or didn't know if it was worth it or whatever, and they didn't apply, is there still time for them to go ahead and try to get an application in?
Great question. And I can tell you what we're doing at Fortera, and I can't speak for every other financial institution, but at Fortera, we are, once we get the green light, we're going to process the applications that we still had in the queue that we were working. So those they will take priority. Okay. And then, you know, as those get cleared out, we'll work the new ones that come in, but it's got to be first come, first serve. It's just, there's no other way around it. It will dry up quickly, but at the same time, they're also funding the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, is being refunded as well. Okay. So that's another option that businesses can go into and take advantage of as soon as you get the green light. Like, go in there and apply for that. If you applied and you didn't get a response, double check your application and maybe resubmit it. And that's done directly through the SBA.gov website. So you could just go there and reapply or apply for the EIDL to make sure you get that advance, because that's a quicker way to get the money. And, you know, it's just so the two options are still there. For the PPP, it's working the queue that's already there as far as we're concerned, and then focusing on the first in, first out after that. And then the ones that don't have the opportunity to apply for the PPP, go in there and get the EIDL. Go apply for that one. I would recommend doing that first. Yeah, make that your first stop.
Okay, awesome. Well, another Friday of great information with John, and I'm sure he's going to be busy, because when it did last time, I was like, let's do this again the next Friday, and I think he was under a pile of papers and digital online for like 3 weeks before he came up for air. So I appreciate you taking the time out today to do this again with me.
Oh, thank you for having me, Karen. It's always a pleasure, and you know, look excited to see what comes next.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Thank you again.